Welcome to the Golden Chair, a place where we always try by all means to empower our Black brothers and sisters. We give you loads and lots of information. Sometimes I even suspect that we are overloading you, but guess what? You can never overload someone with empowerment. We want to inspire you by bringing you very experienced and successful business people who've done it all, so that you can see that it can happen. We were very encouraged last week to see the response. We've got over 20,000 views on our page, flowing obviously from the Mr. Duma we had last week. And guess what? This week, I'm still with my co-host, Matapelo. Welcome to the Golden Show again, Matapelo. In fact, we're not going to welcome you anymore. You'll be welcoming us next week.
Thank you so much, Dumelang. Hello to our precious guest, Mr. Wilcox, as well as the guests and viewers who are at home.
And Matapelo, she's based at in Bloemfontein, and she is going to continue to be with us in the Golden Show. And guess what? Tonight we've got a good friend, a good colleague, an amazing, and a service provider. In one of our projects, an amazing entrepreneur who is going to be sharing his amazing entrepreneurial journey, the joys of being an entrepreneur and the pains as well. Because we also want to show you as the viewers that there are pains as well, there are challenges that you encounter along the way. But guess what? You keep pushing. He will be talking to us about the journey. Welcome to the Golden Show.
So, yes. Thank you very much. It's a real honor to this is in the Golden Chair. Yeah, absolutely.
Theo Willcox, he will be taking us on his amazing journey. Tell us where you're watching us from. Tell us whether you're in Joburg, in Bloemfontein, wherever you are. East London, Pietermaritzburg, Devon. Tell us your castle. Tell us your township. We want to hear from you as we hear this amazing journey. Let me show off. I mean, who is Theo? You know, where does it come from? And how did he get to become an entrepreneur? Successful, not just entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur that you are. Running Wilcox, Wilcox, but also running, which is a consulting, an amazing and a very big consulting engineering firm, which does electrical and mechanical, and also the Impact Fund, which you have launched recently. Take us on that journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Theo Willcox is a simple guy. You know, he was born in Cape Town, right? Actually on Cape yeah, and studied in Cape Town as well. Went to, at that time it was Cape Technicon.
All right.
Yeah, completed studies there. I then went off to Quinton, Namibia, and that's where I started my consulting career as well.
Wow.
Came back to South Africa. Probably in the early years of 2000, and actually worked in your hometown, PMB.
Wow.
Worked there for about 5 years. In between, I was still studying as well. You know, as a junior engineer.
Right.
Still trying to establish myself as well. Finished my bachelor's degree as well in the electrical. So I'm actually an electrical engineer by trade. Yeah, and 2017 I was then promoted by the company that I was with, and I relocated to South Coast.
2007.
Yes, yeah, 2007 relocated to the South Coast. Really an office that had absolutely nothing. You know, I had a 12 square meter office there, telephone and cell phone. You know, yeah, and yeah, in between as well, studied further as well.
Right.
I achieved 2 masters degrees as well, up to about 2010. One in project management, and the other one in engineering as well. That was through University of Southern Queensland, that's right, or Australia at the time. 2010, that's really, and I felt it before that as well, right, to really calm out, you know, and that's where I started setting on consulting engineer, right, with the partner at the time. Yeah, and we were specializing in electrical, mechanical, as well as higher consulting service as well. So literally what we do, we don't do physical work, we do the design work, you know, be it healthcare facilities, be it you know, like your cool as well there, that we're doing retail offices and so on, you know. Yeah, and that was up till about 2015, right? And then I started to go on my own with no partners really. And I formed Willpower Works. Willpower Works, yeah, initially I said, well, you know, I'd let me go to my core function, which is electrical and electronics, right? But because the clients had as well. I mean, they just wanted to give me also the mechanical as well, you know. Yeah, and so we've been operating for 5 years. We operate within KZN, as well as Gauteng as well.
Well, I'm quite privileged to know, before I cross over to Matapelo, but I'm quite privileged to know that when you exited in 2015 and started your own thing, it was probably the most difficult time of your life. Yeah, tell us about those, so that a viewer that can know that there may be challenges in the journey to their starting their businesses, or even in the middle.
Yeah, I think there were actually 2 moments in my life. Right. You know, one was 2010. When obviously 2010 things were just, you know, tapering down as well. That's right. You know, and at that time there was a lot of people that were telling me, well, you know, you actually making a mistake as well. That's right. You know, how are you living? I mean, you've got the comfort of a full-time job as well. But the question is really, you know, when is a good time? You know, and we felt at the time that we could actually get into the market, even though it was, you know, tapering down, right? And really establishing ourselves, so when the market turns, you know, obviously we would be in the, you know, industry for a time as well, you know. So that was literally, you know, and the one thing is we had no work, you know, no opportunities, and we literally had to form, you know, relationships with people and so on, you know. 2015, I decided really to go on my own. I felt in my heart as well, and prayed about it as well. To really done my own as well. Once again, challenging time. I literally walked away from the company and started Willpower Works with no work. The one thing that I always say to people that you can't really take my network away from me. That's right. And those are the people that have contributed to the success of the company as well. Yeah.
So you're basically saying your biggest strength is the relationships.
Oh no, absolutely.
So you're saying to the viewer there, please save those relationships. I know for a fact. I mean, you call, how are you, brother? You send a WhatsApp message. In fact, when I see your name in my phone, I feel bad. I say, no. Let me do it first this time around. Because I know within like 2-3 weeks, he's going to call and say, are you good? Yeah. So I feel bad. I said, no, let me do it at first before you do it. You are amazing in terms of relationship.
I think, what I always say to people that, even though I'm an electrical engineer and whatever, I'm really in the business of people, and even before you start talking about opportunities and work and so on, you need to know people. That's right. You need to establish, a mutually beneficial relationship, and I think a lot of people get that, they come to you and say, I want to work or whatever, but you really don't know my value system, my principles. And if it doesn't align with you, we're not going to work, And that's the first departure that I want to look at as well, pardon the pun, but always tell people, don't screw people, because it's the easiest way of actually harming yourself and your business as well. That's right. So I focus a lot on business development, networking, which I feel is such an undervalued topic as well. As you know, I'm in the process of also writing a book as well on same topic as well, but business development, networking, and so on. It will also give a bit of background in terms of me as well. Growing up in the Cape Flats as well. That's right. I was really introvert. But yeah.
We'll come back to the book just now because I'm very interested, but also the strategies that people can learn on networking. But let's go over to the ladies and bring some freshness into the discussion.
I think quite a heated conversation that was, and I was starting just to get the hang of it and almost forgot some of the important factors that I wanted to factor into my next question. And such an honor it is to have you here. And just to ask you one question from a perspective of the person who is outside and looking at the field and starting to think that, oh, okay, I would like to be in electronics, but it looks so saturated or it looks so difficult. I would like you to please run us through some of the misconceptions, because it is often perceived that a service-based business is often cheaper to start than that of a product-based business. So with what you do, since it's consultancy, take us through the hardships, some of the hardships that you had to endure and how you overcame them, that the active step-by-step processes in which you followed for you to be able to be in the market as you are now since 2015?
Yeah, it's not really, I mean, easy answer, but I think, like I said, starting up is really difficult as well, and obviously you're going to need resources. It's not just any resource. I mean, you're going to have to look at technical resources. You still need capital, obviously, to manage business. Even though we're not a product orientated, company, we're service orientated, and technical skills cost money. I mean, we also need to live. We've got a family that we need to support as well.
Right.
So if I tell you, I mean, there were times that we had no salary. My approach is always to pay my staff first,
Right.
and then whatever balance you have, you pay yourself. And I think really starting out in consulting as well. So looking at which sectors you're going to look at, be it government as well or private as well. For me, and through learning lessons of my consulting career, probably early part of 2013, it was very painful because when you deal with government clients, they don't pay, and I can tell you it takes 2 years, and to pay you, and I mean you still need to pay staff as well, So strategically, I took a decision to look at more private sector work, even though you still need to discount, payment is obviously a bit quicker. But I can tell you, work in government is very painful, and those are really, the battles that we went through, because ultimately we need to survive, pay, other service providers, we need to pay staff as well. And so I think that was really kind of a blessing for me, where I took that step as well, to say, let me focus more on private sector clients as well.
Oh yes, just to ask you one last question. The one that I had in mind was to say, often we look at entrepreneurs and think, oh, okay, goodness, how easy it was to probably pivot from the services that you offer physically to the ones that you offer online. So what I wanted to know more from you is how do you think the COVID-19 has impacted the electronics industry at large, especially focusing on the consultancy business, to say, was it more easier or was it more difficult since the consultancy at all and some projects had to be halted? So I just want to get your perspective from an industry point of view.
No, absolutely. I think obviously, if you look at the consulting industry, I mean, we part of the whole environment, and I mean that would be also contractors and all of that, And obviously, with COVID, all the sites were closed as well, right? From experience and going through COVID as well, I mean, it's been a lot of challenging, a lot of companies obviously having, to either retrench staff or reduce salaries within the market as well, For me, I'll be honest, COVID hasn't really impacted on me. I mean, I was actually more busy within COVID as well because of, you know, private sector work and because of also healthcare. You know, that we were actually appointed onto healthcare projects specifically for COVID. But amongst that, obviously, we had other work, and it actually gave us an opportunity to also catch up as well on the design work and so on. I mean, we can do, we're not limited to an office. You know, we can work from anywhere that we want to. But from my perspective, it hasn't really impacted my work, you know. And it's also a creative, which we'll discuss further, other opportunities as well, you know, which you know, gave me time to look at other businesses as well. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is you bought two cars in the middle of COVID and everyone in the middle of the lockdown and everyone was trying. You know, it's kind of success. So, you know, I'm saying,
we just need to define success.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people define success by material things and money.
Yeah.
My success is really by helping people. You know, by growing other people, sharing knowledge as well. You know, so I just feel that we overemphasize on success to an extent of, you know, material things and monetary things and you know. For me, yes. I mean, if you look at the process of success, I define it as hard work and you know, willpower.
Yeah.
You know, nothing comes easy without hard work. Otherwise, we can all play the lottery, you know. But yeah, and you know, just willpower, endurance, and we need to, you know, for me, failure is not an issue, and I failed in the past. You know, but it should really be a learning lesson for people, you know. So,
let me hit you with an interesting question.
Yeah.
There's someone out there who is working in the public sector, in the public space for government, for state house, facing the problems that you're facing 7, 8 years ago, of non-payment, delayed payments, etc. They want to crack the private sector like you have done successfully. So the question is, where do they go? Do they go around knocking on the doors? If you don't, do they go to NAMPEG and say, yeah, you know, I'm an electrical engineer. I've got an electrical business. I want to offer. I'm a civil engineer. How do they go about doing it? I'm sure they want to do it. They could be doing something else. They could be supplying something else in government, but saying, I'm frustrated by the delayed payments of government. We want to also move from the public sector and ultimately penetrate the bigger private sector space. But before you answer, leave us your questions. Tell us where you're watching us from and leave the questions or on the comment section. We want to hear from you. We're having an interesting conversation with Theo Willcox. He's a well-established, well-known consulting engineer in the electrical and mechanical space. What is your view?
Not easy.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. You know, and the thing is, as I said, I can't overemphasize the business development side as well. You know, and you know, within the private sectors, you always get, you know, cliques of people, and you always get people, and as sorry, any relationship, right? You know, it's really based on trust as well.
That's right.
You know, and you need to start. And like I said, don't go with an attitude of, hey, I want work from you. You know, go with an attitude of saying, how can I help you? What is my contribution? You know, and I think we've had this discussion around that on givers and takers. You know, that some people that give, but there are other people that are just taking as well. You know, and I found that once I started, it's a biblical principle, sowing and reaping. You know?
Right.
And I found that once I started to give, it actually came back as well. You know, so for anyone in public sector to, I mean, start out in private sector, you know, so also good in finding mentors as well. You know, that can actually guide you within the industry. You know, there's two ways of doing things. You can go on your own and fail, or you can to just, you know, learn from other people's people who has gone through that. I'm not saying that you're not going to fail, but you might be cushioned better because of learning lessons, you know. But for me, I'll be honest with you, it took me years and years and years to develop that relationships with people.
Just to give you an insight, what Theo does, you will go to NAMPEC, you know, and well, before he goes to NAMPEC, he would have analyzed NAMPEC and say, what does NAMPEC need? So NAMPEC needs a market. He will then go to the potential player that NAMPEC is going to supply to, and then say, you know, what if he will then lead the two up, and then say, NAMPEC, can I help you? I know someone who does this. And guess what? Just by the mere fact of doing that, when NAMPEC has work, they will call him. You know, he's not going there to say, I'm looking for work from you.
Absolutely.
He says, how can I help NAMPEC to improve its business? How can I help, you know, this business to improve its, you know, and then just without asking for work, and then you know him, the first person you will call when you have business is the person that has helped you to expand your network. And that's, you know, that's how we established a relationship with him. And, you know, it becomes difficult for you to think of someone else when you know someone who wants to add value into your business. Now, it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset change. I've learned it from him, and he's an amazing person when it comes to this. As I say, he's busy writing a book on networking and business development. Our typical way of business development is always, I want work, I want work, I want work. He's saying, no, no, no. How can I help you? How can I make you better? Because by the mere fact of doing that, he's helping you to grow your business.
I think two things that I want to just also mention around that is, you know, the one thing is give, well, without the expectation of return, you know. The second thing is also, you know, knowledge sharing as well. You know, share your knowledge with people. I think we always find, oh no, you know, if I'm going to share my knowledge with people, they're going to use my idea and so on, which is right, because I've also been burnt as well. People use my ideas and so on. But I find with the people that are really genuine about, you know, growing you share that knowledge, and also in terms of, you know, creating linkages, like you said, between people. you know, and you don't have to get a cut from it, you know. You don't have to say, well, I've helped you now. You need to feed me and sit around the table. Right. You just leave it, and you know, I can tell you, God will bless your intentions. You know, He will bless you for, you know, being true to yourself. You know. So yeah, for me, it's always give without expectation. You know? Yeah.
Last two issues, the impact fund and your book. But Matapelo, you wanna ask?
Yes, I do. I actually have a question for you, and I'm quite interested in what you would say to your 20-year-old self, mainly looking at how far you've come with the knowledge and experience that you have now. So I'm obviously out here representing the younger generation, which is part of the audience that is watching our interview here. So I'd like for you to take me through what you would say to your 20-year-old self, taking into account what you know and all the experience you've gathered now where business is concerned.
My 20-year-old self, I would kick myself, you know? So I really want to say, if I look at my personal journey as well, it really hasn't been easy. I think, you know, how can you I have a speech impediment, and
from you small, right? I'm telling you. A small one, eh?
But as a kid, it wasn't easy. You know, as a kid, I was bullied. As a kid, you know, I was used as a punching bag, and I can tell you, I was suicidal. You know, and you know, up to I think kind of my 20s, I was really introvert.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't speak to anyone. You know, if you would have asked me to sit on the golden chair, I would say no. You know, and I really, you know, God used people, you know, and he just put people in my life, you know, for guidance as well and stuff, you know. And to say, I mean, and I always say to people that I'm an introvert at heart, but I put myself up there. You know, right. You need to, you can't be kind of limited, you know, to what you think you are, but you really need to say, well, what do I want to be, you know, and you look at those limitations, you know. I'll just use an example. I mean, I only went for therapy in my 20s, you know, and what they had said is, like anything, riding a bike, you know, the more you speak, the better you get it, you know. And I literally put myself in situations where I needed to speak, and I joined organizations like you know, I mean, I was on the Consulting Association, I was on the Electrical Engineers Association, I was on PMSA, I was on Cyber as well. I mean, I'm currently still Kaiser chair, you know. So my advice to 20-year-old, to not let your circumstances and where you come from dictate your future. Wow. You know, yeah.
This is a practical example.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. On my side, tell us about the impact fund that you've just
started. So the impact fund, you know, we've started with, I've got two business partners within the fund, Sarika and Johan. You know, it is really a need in terms of what is happening within our country as well, you know. And everyone wants a roof over there. It's a need, but need as well. And we then formed the Character Impact Fund Management, where we raise funding, we develop, we construct, as well as properly manage affordable and social housing.
So it's a rental stock.
All rental stock. It's your typical 3-story, 4-story, or more. You know, what we focused on heavily is our structure. Our so we legal structure, registered with the FSB, Financial Services Board, in commandite structure. So we have the Cat 2 license. So it allows us to go to, for example, the pension fund, and PRC, and so on, because they need to know if they keep giving you the capital, there's corporate governance within that structure as well. Okay. So typically it's not a invest and exit. You know, we look at properties being, for example, 15 years. At that time, we can decide, you know, if we want to sell it out, or we absolutely, or we create an incentive for the people that's rented as well. And at the end of 15 years, they might actually own the property as well.
Right. Yeah.
Those aspects, we can list it up in JSE as well, you know. And then the other aspect that we looked at is pipeline, you know. We need pipeline projects, and that's what we also concentrated heavily on. I think at this stage we've got about 4,000 units. Wow. That we've got as well as about 1,000 units in PMB as well, which we are looking at. So yeah, that's that kind of our structure, and we are currently on fundraising as well now. Wow! So that now puts me on the client side now.
Yeah. My last question before I hand over to Matapelo to close for us. The book. What's the title of the book? Or you haven't finalized, you're just busy with the content of that. But when can we expect it? Yeah. You're a man, at least a man. All over the country, you sit on Cyber board, you sit on this board. Now you've started the Impact Fund, and we've got an amazingly growing business. You know, Willpower Works.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is
absolutely. Yeah. And just to also mention as well, I was going from board meeting as well, where I'm a board member on Fotola. So Fotola is, you know, an entity that promotes SMEs and so on. There's programs as well that you know, companies can actually apply for, you know, in terms of mentorship, training, and all of that as well. You know,
Fotola,
Fotola, yeah, FETOLA.
Okay, Fotola. Devon based only.
They based in Cape Town, but you know, programs are run nationally. You know. So, for example, they are managing the the SAB program as well. You know,
Kickstart
yes,
program.
exactly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually sit on board as well on Fertile as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So the book, sure, I've been kind of making notes.
Yeah.
You know, learning lessons and all that and so on. In December, I'm really kind of knuckle down.
Okay.
You know, sit down and to kind of keep getting kind of context within the book. The problem that I have is finding structure. You know, even though you've got the kind of content,
Yeah.
you really need to put it in a structure as well.
Right.
And for me, each month but making money,
yeah,
from the book. As you know, for me, money doesn't drive me. The relationship drive, you know, and money should be a byproduct of what you do and what you love, you know. So really, it's not a book that I want to make money on, but I think it's really just to impart, you know, that knowledge to people. Some people might not read it. That's fine, you know. But if it can help one person, I'll be happy, you know. So yeah, let's look at next year. Yeah, but I think I really need to knuckle down. It's been on my, you know, it's really been on my heart for the last couple of years, and now it's really pressing on me to say you need to, you know. So let's see next year. Yeah, we'll let's give you an update as well. Yeah. Of where we are. Yeah.
Next year sometime we're getting a book. It's going to be a very powerful book on networking and business development. You'll obviously be sharing this journey in business. Tell us where you're watching us from. We want to hear from you. Give us the questions. A couple of questions coming from you as Matapelo will be closing just now. But I want to say, you know, obviously you might wonder how, you know, the quality of what you're doing is because there's lighting, there are cameras, there's a crew, and I want to sell their services. The guys are doing an exceptionally good job. They've done exceptionally well. In fact, since we started or began earlier this year in March, April, during the first hard lockdown, they've been with me, and I want to sell their services to you. We've got Ubutrigo Productions. Ubutrigo Productions, you know, as you can see the number on the screen there, please, those are the two cell numbers. Please use their services. They have done an amazing job. The number is on the screen there, as you can see it. And then the second one is on the IT side, we've got Black Sky. Black Sky has done a wonderful job for us as well from the IT side. We're selling their services. If you need them, you know, if you need to use their services, there is the number. The first company is Ubutrigo, they do video, and the second company, Ubutrigo Productions, they do video, and the second company is Black Sky. IT guys, they've done a phenomenal job. I'm selling their services. Please get quotations. Here are their two numbers. This is Ubutrigo number, and this is Black Sky's number. Please use their services. Matapelo, please close for us.
Thank you so much. I think I was so sold into the book. I was hoping that, you know, at some point you're going to drop me a Word document so that I can at least get it before it's published. But it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. Yeah. It's so inspiring to get to hear yet again on another episode of the Golden Chair that there are entrepreneurs out there who are still pushing and fighting for the spirit of entrepreneurship. So, Mr. Theo Willcox, we'd like to extend our biggest words of gratitude for allowing us your time and being on this platform and allowing yourself to be exposed to all the other viewers that are viewing this, and to everybody who is watching. I hope that, like me, you took something very very profound from this episode, which is to never let the circumstances that you are from determine where you are going. So I think that can be one thing that we can learn as the youth, and also as middle age, 30s, 40s going up. You can learn that from whatever situation that you come from, whatever the circumstance that it may be, it does not determine where you will be going or where you are headed in life. So never allow any of that to happen to you. So thank you so much, Mr. Theo. We hope that we will be getting that book soon, and I can't wait to get my hands on it, because I can definitely tell the value that I'm going to get and share it with everybody else that is in my circle. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.